Set sometime in the future in a spaceship called the Red Dwarf, this sci-fi sitcom pursues the bizarre events of the capsule's crew. The Red Dwarf is 5 miles long and 3 miles wide, voyaging amongst the moons of Saturn. The crew are a loony lot, sporting an odd mixture of American uniforms and British accents. Among them is a stowaway cat who causes a real disaster, and a dead man recreated as a hologram, a computer simulation of three-dimensional reality. You know he's a hologram because he has an H stuck on his forehead. And there's a computer which, despite an outrageously high IQ of 6,000, still manages to be amazingly stupid. Is the future really like this? If so, we could be in great trouble, especially when you consider the first episode of The Red Dwarf is called The End.
Coming up in summer edition, our sci-fi serial, The Red Dwarf. But now we return to Martin Portis.
Before we go to our sci-fi serial, something about next week. First, Man and Music spotlights the musical crescendo of Vienna 200 years ago, featuring the works of Mozart. And then begins a beautifully photographed series on the painters Rembrandt, Turner, and next week, Giotto. Also in the Ross tapes, Peter Ross talks to the famous Australian photographer Max Dupain, and our Hollywood legend for next Sunday is Anthony Quinn. And to close the afternoon in The Red Dwarf, the android gets transformed into a Brando-like rebel, but that's next week. Just before this week's episode, let me say goodbye. I'm Martin Portis. Thanks for your company. And now, episode 6 of The Red Dwarf.